Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is Jenn dishing on an alleged off camera conversation with Tamra about the other ROC co stars, and also Vicki shares how she helped Shannon escape the London cast trip. So, as we know, The Real Housewives of Orange County season 18 has officially wrapped. And for me, the reunion part 3 was whack as hell with that little 5 minute, pick the cameras back up, let all the women's have a kumbaya. Tamara and Heather try and save their jobs and their reputations by telling Shannon about what John said, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was whack as hell. I thought it just proved that Tamara and Heather are liars. More so Tamara. I think Heather just is scared of Tamara and was just rolling with it, but still she should have told Shannon. And to me, it was very more just like, I am here to save my job and I don't want to be canceled on social media because I know I came across crazy as hell on the reunion. I know this season I came across as the villain when I thought it was going to be Shannon, and I'm trying to save my job. But let's dive into what Jenn and everybody else had to say about it. So before we do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. And let's go. All right. So this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Jenn revealed an off-camera conversation with Gina, Emily, and Katie about Tamara's toxic behavior as Vicki Gunvalson shared that she helped Shannon Beador escape the London cast trip. During the Real Housewives of Orange County cast trip, Tamara insinuated again that Shannon was an alcoholic. Their fight became so intense that Shannon left London despite organizing the trip. Throughout the season, many fans were offended by Tamara's treatment of Shannon, who was her once good friend. Side note, the whole thing about Shannon leaving London, I wish Shannon would have kicked Tamara and Heather off the trip. That would have been the move, Shannon. But I guess maybe Shannon was such in a dark place, depressed, lawsuits, all of it, the DUI. Maybe she wasn't thinking clearly, but I think that the right move would have been for Shannon to kick Tamara and Heather off the trip. That would have been the right move. Anyway, Tamara also seemingly went after Jenn's boyfriend Ryan. The biggest bomb drop of the season was Tamara's claim that Ryan was raided by the FBI. It turns out this never happened. When we wrapped in London, me and Gina and Emily and Katie were back in our room. No camera or anything, recalled Jenn on Vicki's My Friend, My Soulmate podcast. And off camera, everybody was like, it's too much. We have reached a new low. It's too dark. It's too toxic. She said the trip was miserable for Shannon. Everybody agreed Tamra is great at moving a storyline along. Jen added, she will say what nobody else wants to say, but everybody sitting in that room that night was like, it's too much. And Heather and I have even had these conversations, how Tamra is great for the show, but it's getting to be a little bit too much, she continued. But when we all sit in front of Tamra and you try to bring this up, trying to give constructive criticism, like, come on, Tam, everybody feels this way, everyone backs off a little bit. And I think that's why it never changes. I agree with this with Jenn because it is like everybody kind of cowers to Tamra. This changed a little bit the last couple of episodes of the ROC, but in general, when Tamra's not around or off camera, they're like, yeah, she's too much. She's toxic. It's vile. It's too low. It's too dark. But then when they're in her face, it's like, oh my God, Tam. Okay, Tamara, blah, 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 blah. Especially Heather, all up her butt. It's insane. And that is difficult. If you've ever had any situations where, you and your friend or you and a family member feel some type of way about another friend or another family member, but then the moment that family member or that friend is in the room, the other person flips. Oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. This person's cool. I don't think that. I never thought that. Oh, everything's fine. The way Heather did at the reunion when Jen was like, no, you called Tamra a historical friend because that was like, you really think this chick is your friend? And you're like, she's a historical friend. That sounds exactly the way Heather talks. I don't think Jenn, no offense to her, but I don't think she's walking around just using the word historical randomly, right? That sounds like something Heather would say. And I see where Jen is coming from because I've been in those situations myself where it's like, no, like we both were like we felt this way about this person, but now that they're in your face, you're acting like I'm the crazy one when we both felt some type of way. So I get what Jen is saying. And I do think that if the other ladies sort of doubled down, which we did see at the reunion, I don't know how much of it was because they stopped fearing Tamra or they feared being canceled more because it's very clear that the collective consciousness, the audience, we're tired of Tamra. It's too much. We're bothered by her. It's too toxic. So it's funny that the women, I'm looking at Gina, I'm looking at you, Emily, I'm looking at you, Katie, are able to, I'm looking at you, Jen, too, are able to stand up to Tamra now that the audience has turned, where it's like, why weren't you standing up against her before, you know? So there is kind of that. So let's keep going. So Vicki added, and Shannon left early on her trip, and that was so sad. She revealed that Shannon had asked her for help finding an airline or hotel. I was on the phone with Shannon because I was like, girl, this is your trip. Why is this happening again? Yeah, again, I think that Shannon should have kicked Tamra out and she should have kicked Heather out. And I think she should have went on and had a really good fun, a really good time, a really good kiki in London without Tamara and without Heather. I think that would have really shown them that they are not the HBICs, that Shannon is strong and she is supported. Again, I think the only reason why we sort of had this change in tune with Tamara and Heather is because they wanted to save their orange. They want to save the Bravo check. They want to save their 15 minutes of fame. They don't want to get canceled or put on pause because of their piss poor behavior. So I think the whole thing at the end of the reunion was just performative. I think they didn't want to become like the New Jersey cast where it's so toxic and people won't film and it's such at odds and there's sides so much that you just literally cannot even film anymore because it's that bad. But at the end of the day, it also feels so inauthentic. It feels so fake and phony and forced. And it's still, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but it's still very narcissistic. I will, be your friend, Shannon. I will tell you what John said only because it serves my interest, not because I'm actually trying to look out for my friend. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you believe Jen that she had these off camera conversations with Emily and with Heather and with Jen or I'm sorry, with Gina about Tamra and all of them collectively saying she's too much? And then do you buy the whole Tamra and Heather kumbaya moment at the end of the reunion? Or do you think they're just trying to save their position on the show? I think they're just trying to save their position on the show. And with that said, do you think we need to shake up the cast? Should Tamra come back? Should she not come back? Also, is Heather's time up on the show too? Maybe it's time for Heather to take a pause. So as always, I want to know what you guys think. And do you want Jen back? Do you want her back on the show? Would she be interesting without Tamra? I don't know. So put everything down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, you guys, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.